Breaking news from West Africa as Burkina Faso once again captures global attention under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Today marks another critical moment as decisions taken in Ouagadougou are sending shockwaves across diplomatic circles, international media, and political analysts worldwide. Traoré, known for his bold rhetoric and uncompromising stance on national sovereignty, continues to position Burkina Faso as a symbol of resistance against external pressure. Supporters describe him as a fearless reformer determined to reclaim dignity, resources, and independence for his people. Critics, however, warn that the path he has chosen carries serious risks and long-term consequences. As tensions rise and alliances shift, the world is watching closely. What unfolds next could redefine power dynamics across the Sahel region. Determined Captain Ibrahim Traoré rose to power during a time of deep crisis, when insecurity, foreign influence, and public frustration had reached dangerous levels in Burkina Faso. Since then, his leadership style has remained direct, disciplined, and unapologetic. He has repeatedly stated that Burkina Faso will no longer be dictated to by external forces or former colonial powers. This message has resonated strongly with a generation of Africans demanding control over their own destiny. At rallies and official events, Traoré presents himself not as a traditional politician, but as a soldier of the people. His speeches emphasize sacrifice, unity, and resistance. For many supporters, this approach represents a long overdue break from dependency. For others, it raises concern. One of the most significant developments under Traoré's leadership has been the realignment of Burkina Faso's international partnerships. Alongside Mali and Niger, the country has moved away from Western-backed security frameworks and instead formed a regional alliance focused on mutual defense and cooperation. This bloc aims to confront armed insurgencies through joint military operations and shared intelligence. Traoré argues that regional solutions are the only effective answer to regional problems. The alliance has been praised by some analysts as a bold experiment in African-led security. However, it has also triggered concern among Western governments who fear losing strategic influence in the Sahel. These shifts signal a profound transformation in how power is negotiated across West Africa. Economic sovereignty has become another cornerstone of Traoré's agenda. Determined, his government has taken steps to assert greater control over natural resources, particularly gold, which remains Burkina Faso's most valuable export. Officials claim that revenues previously lost to foreign interest are now being redirected toward national development. Optimistic, roads, public services, and military logistics have reportedly benefited from this strategy. Traoré insists that wealth generated from Burkinabe soil must serve Burkinabe citizens first. Empathetic, supporters see these policies as a necessary correction to decades of imbalance. Critics caution that such moves could discourage investment and isolate the economy if not carefully managed. The long-term impact of these economic reforms remains uncertain, but undeniably consequential. Worried into the security remains the defining challenge of Traoré's presidency. Armed groups continue to operate across large areas of the country, threatening civilians and destabilizing communities. Determined, the government has expanded recruitment, mobilized civilian defense units, and increased military spending. Traoré frequently visits frontline areas, projecting an image of hands-on leadership and solidarity with troops. These actions have strengthened his reputation among supporters as a leader willing to share the risks of war. Yet human rights organizations have raised alarms about civilian protection and accountability during operations. Balancing security needs with humanitarian concerns has become one of the most difficult tests facing his administration as violence persists, despite intensified efforts. International reactions to Traoré's rule remain sharply divided. Some African youth movements celebrate him as a symbol of anti-imperial defiance and renewed pride. Social media has amplified his image far beyond Burkina Faso's borders, turning him into a continental figure. At the same time, foreign governments and institutions express unease over delayed elections and prolonged military rule. Diplomatic relations have grown tense, particularly with countries accustomed to strong influence in the region. Determined, Traoré maintains that stability must come before political transitions, arguing that chaos would only benefit armed groups. Uncertain, this debate over order versus democracy continues to define external perceptions of his leadership on the global stage. Toward Burkina Faso, public opinion is complex and evolving. Satisfied, many citizens credit Traoré with restoring a sense of national pride and purpose during an era of hardship. Worried others struggle daily with displacement, economic strain, and fear caused by ongoing conflict. Determined, his messaging emphasizes resilience and collective sacrifice, urging citizens to endure short-term pain for long-term sovereignty. Critics inside the country quietly question whether promises will translate into lasting peace and prosperity. Anxious media restrictions and emergency measures have limited open debate, adding to uncertainty. As time passes, expectations continue to rise and pressure mounts for tangible improvements in security and living conditions across the nation. Determined. As the situation continues to unfold, Ibrahim Traoré stands at the center of one of Africa's most closely watched experiments in leadership and independence. His choices will shape not only Burkina Faso's future, but also the direction of the wider Sahel region, whether